Good afternoon, ladies. Thank you, everyone, for being here and for participating in this event because it's a Saturday. You could be at home, you could be doing whatever you want to do, out shopping, having a good time. But you came here because you want to learn more about wellness, self care. Now, just raise up your hands and let me know how many of you, the first thing in the morning, you get up and you turn on the television, you watch the news. And this is not a judgment or anything, but I'd like to suggest something a little bit better because if you notice, when you wake up in the morning, you watch the news, you're hearing the bad news, you're hearing the horrible news, you're hearing all the news that really gets your nervous system, like we talked about earlier, in a knot. When you're driving to work, if you're driving to work, if you're driving to school or wherever, you are tense, you cannot settle down. And then when you get to work or deal with other people, that adds more to what's going on because you have the news first and then you have the commute, then you have going into the office, and now your nervous system is pretty much shot. You cannot think clearly. Your negativity goes on 10. The people around you's negativity, you absorb that. And it's like, when do you have time to relax? When do you have time to be at peace? And you can't do that unless you start the day a little bit differently. The next thing is I don't have time because I got to get up, I got to get myself together, I got to go to work, got to get to work, I got to take care of all the other people in my life. I really don't have time to take care of self-care, relax, or anything like that. And so I'm going to give you 3 ways to fit self-care into your life, even if you're busy. Okay? But first, before I do that, I want to encourage you to set up in your home a relaxation station. Some of you have a favorite chair, right? Or favorite place you just like to lounge. So let's make it a little bit more special. So what I have here is what a very rough model of a relaxation station. And all it is setting up a place in your bedroom, in a den, in an area where just you alone can go there, sit down, relax, and take time away. So what I have here is just a regular kind of chair. It's a long chair, but it reclines. So you can recline it all the way back. And then I added a nice little candle. And I added a air misting humidifier machine that you add your essential oil to it. Add some headphones for some soft music. I even have an eye mask that I use just to block out the entire world. Because with your headphones, with your eyes closed, with your essential oils, you have your own relaxation station. And call it that. Because this is something that you are doing for yourself and nobody else. So, who wants to hear about the 3 things that you can do, even if you don't have time, when it comes to self-care? Okay. So, I suggest in the morning, instead of turning the television on, you do something fun. And that could be while you're getting yourself ready. Turn on some uplifting music and dance while you're getting ready. So whether you're brushing your teeth, doing your hair, just have your music on and allow that to be your morning routine or ritual. I don't like routines. Routines get boring and I hate it. So I have 7 things that I do in the morning. Now I can mix it up or I can add some things, take it away to make it fun, to make my morning feel like it's a spa experience. So I listen to my music first, like I just mentioned. I listen to something motivational. That's important. So whether you listen to a sermon or whether you listen to motivational talk on YouTube, listen to that. And then I do maybe 5-10 minutes of just silence before you can get out of the bed. That's really important because when you get out of the bed, your mind is the first thing that starts to roll. But before that happens, just take 5 minutes and just put your hand on your heart and breathe. And just say, today is going to be an amazing day. Mm-hmm. And then you get up. And so the next thing, I do some movement. And that's where the dance comes in. That's where the music comes in. But I also have a trampoline. And I just bounce on my trampoline for about 5-10 minutes. Get the blood pumping. With the music going, I get to do a little dance. It feels great. And I still brought it in. I had it in the car. Then after that, I check my money. Money is part of yourself here, right? You need to know what's going on in your bank account.
Right.
You need to know what's come out, what's come in, so you can give thanks. And you can say, thank you so much for this abundance, this provision, all the things I have.
Yeah.
And guess what? This only takes no more than 15 minutes to do, from when you in the morning, when you're meditating for 5 minutes, you get up, you turn your music on, you start moving or dancing, and then you listen to motivational after that or before. It doesn't matter. The point is, you create your own ritual. And I have on my website actually a video that goes through the ritual that I do in the morning. So that's the morning, maybe 15, 30 minutes, depending on how long it takes you to get ready for work. The second time you can get some self-care in is during your lunch break. Take 5, 10 minutes to check in again, to say, how am I feeling today? How am I feeling right now? Who's getting on my nerves? And then just breathe. And then just go take a walk. If you have plants in your office or whatever, water the plant. And just really focus on that. Breathe deeply. And then get something to eat or walk out in the sunshine. It just takes you no more than 10 minutes to check in with yourself and get that place where you are reconnected, because with the hustle and bustle of the morning can disconnect you from who you are as a person. And in order to reconnect, that's through self-care. And then the last thing is your bedtime routine. A lot of times you get up, turn the TV off, and then you go hop into bed. But we've had all the news of the evening. We've watched a show. We've had a lot of drama coming in and out, depending on your family, depending on what's happening. But before you go to bed, take maybe 30 minutes or an hour, doesn't matter, and go through a bedtime routine that you create. So here's what I do. I may or may not go and just light a candle in the bathroom. And I may take a shower and then put on something that smells great and light a lavender candle. And I have this amazing lotion. It's a lavender fragrance lotion, and I just all over. But I also take a supplement called either magnesium or sometimes I take both. And then I just take the 5 or 10 minutes to just check in again. That's the only thing I'm really doing that's the whole thread the entire day is checking in. Because oftentimes we're so involved with our everyday life, with other people. What does this child need? What does this parent need? What does this boss need? What does everyone else need but me? And so when you take a minute, take time to check in with yourself, you decide and look at, what do I need? And I think even as Black women, we have been conditioned to always care about everyone else except us. And so that's why I'm here to evangelize self-care. I'm here to make sure that we are checking in with ourselves. We are taking care of ourselves, even to the point where it feels selfish. But guess what? It's not selfish. It is essential in order for you to live the most abundant life possible. Because didn't the word say, I came to give you life and life more abundantly? How can you have that if you're never taking care of yourself, you are never checking in with yourself, and you're always giving and giving and giving? And then when you become a woman of a certain age and those hormones start raging, then you're like, okay, you're living by a thread, because you're always irritable, anxious, stressed, stripping, because you're so hot. I know, I get it, because I was at a point in my life where at age 32, I went into premature ovarian failure, early menopause. I was riding down the street one day. It was in the middle of winter. It was around Christmas time, I think, and I just started stripping, rolling the window down because I was so hot. I did not understand what was happening to me, but because I had been in such high stress situations from childhood, it caught up with me. And my body was like, we're done. My ovaries, oh, really? No, we're done. And I'm going to let you know how done we are by the symptoms that you have. So I went to the doctor and they said, oh, you're in premature ovarian failure. You're never going to have any more kids. I didn't want any more kids, but it was at a point where your bone density starts to diminish. Menopause is serious. It go through a lot. I knew that I needed to start taking care of myself. I needed to start prioritizing my self-care, and I needed to start to tell other people to do the same. I went from burnout to better boundaries, more balance, and now I'm in a space where I'm creating my bliss because I have decided that my self-care is my priority. And I'm almost to the point of begging you, please make it your priority. Start today. Little things. You don't have to do this big announcement to anyone. You just make a decision inside and you say, I am first. My health matters. My life matters. My joy matters. And I'm going to reclaim my wellness. Yeah. We're reclaiming that. Yeah. And so I am starting really a movement, a campaign that's called the Self-Care Alchemy Societies, where we're turning our burnout into balanced bliss. And I'm inviting you all into this space to do this. Because if we don't start now here, then how are we going to teach the younger generation how to move into the space of taking care of yourself and becoming the best version of yourself, falling in love with yourself, because you're the best self you'll ever be. You're the only person that you have in your life that's constant, that remains. No one else is more important than you. And if you can get that in your mind, then you will understand that everything else that you give will come from a place of overflow. You don't come from a place of depletion, because when you're giving, you're depleted. Your battery is like this low, when it needs to be this full, filled up. Fill your own cup until it overflows and everybody can get from the overflow. Yeah. Okay? So that's what I have for you today. I'm really thankful again for this opportunity to come and share with you my 3 ways that you can implement self-care in your life, even if you feel like you're too busy. I also added it to this little newsletter. The 3 ways are here, so you can pick one up. It's free at my table. And I appreciate you. There's also a self-care superpower assessment. Find out what your self-care superpower is. The quiz is on there. You just use your phone, take a picture, take the quiz, and there's a free gift waiting for you on the end. So take care.